Hi there, I'm Sean from the Calling It Out Show, and today, for today's election special part 2, we have a very special guest with us who I'm going to be interviewing. This is Lee Angkat from
Hi,
the
my name is
PAP.
Angkat.
He's a very special guest that we have on the show today. He's a PAP Youth Wing member, and we're here to grill him a little bit about the coming elections and his thought about politics in Singapore. So, Mr. Angkat, do you think that Singapore...
It's Angkat.
Angkat, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
So, Mr. Angkat, do you believe that there will ever come a day where the PAP will lose its majority share of parliament?
No, it will never happen. Like, we're not worried about it because you see the last election also, right? We only had 63% that voted for the PAP, the other 40% voted for wrong. So, in the end, in Parliament, the fact speaks for itself. We had 98% of PAP that went in. So even if we lose the majority, I'm pretty sure we still can get majority of our people inside.
Very disturbing statistics. Well, okay. Well, Mr. Angkat, do you use social media or the internet?
I try not to because that place is a crazy cowboy town full of very unhappy people.
Yes, I mean, on that note, there's a lot of dissent and a lot of criticism that's on the internet, on social media, that is quite critical of the ruling party, the PAP, as well as some of their policies. So what do you think about that?
I think the problem is the silent majority are not speaking up. Majority of the people speaking up are netizens. If you see, right, netizens and citizens are two very different demographics. So I think that all this online stuff, right, it's just really not true. And we have but we know how to deal with them. We have our special counter-insurgency working in secret. I cannot tell you too much, but they are there to help steer the conversation, to read the right things.
Would that happen to be the PAP-IB?
No, there's no such thing. We have real support. Why must you say that they are the IB? It's only the opposition that got the IB.
Alright, so do you ever fear losing an election?
No, I don't. I mean, like I said, even if we don't get the majority votes, we still can get 93% in. Very promising future. But even if we lose, which unfortunately happened once because too many people voted wrong. When we lost, right, we still managed to get, it was Desmond Chu who lost. We still managed to get him as a grassroots advisor around the same area. So for a consolidation prize, you still can serve the residents very, very well.
Alright.
In fact, they did a better job than the people who won the election.
Alright.
They have 4 years to repent.
Alright. So as a final question to you, what are your thoughts on the PA corruption scandal that's currently ongoing?
I think that all of it is wrong. Again, online news is always untruth news. that's what we call it.
Okay.
Online news is untruth news, unless it's today's online or the reputable Straits Times. But I think the PA corruption, right, is just not true. PA is very transparent about this. They own self set up their own self community with their own people, and then after that they own self found themselves not own self wrong and own self free of their own corruption. So I think that they have been very transparent, unlike another corruption case going on.
Alright, thank you so much, Mr. Angkat, for taking the time to come down here. And now, back to the Calling It Out Show. Alright, hi guys, welcome back to the Calling It Out Show. We hope you enjoyed our little skit that we had just now with Mr.
got rid of him.
With
He's
Mr.
not
Angkat. Yeah, with our PAP fanboy, Mr. Angkat. So anyways, I think from that very disturbing conversation that we had with Mr. Angkat, we kind of see that there's this sort of air of PAP privilege that's around.
Yeah, it's totally an unfair playing field.
Yeah.
But what good can ever come from such fuckery? Opposition unity.
Yeah, okay, wait. So, I want to steer it back before we talk about opposition unity. So, Angkat mentioned some stuff about how we have 60% of the population who voted for the PAP.
Yes.
And we have 93% of parliament being made up of the
That's
PAP.
the Singapore version of equal representation.
Yeah. I mean, okay, I'm not going to jump too much into that, but then he also goes on to talk about how there's this sort of censoring and making sure that people hear the right news there's the internet brigade that goes around, you know what I mean, posting stuff from 9 to 6
They don't do it on
o'clock.
Sundays apparently.
Yeah,
Now
I
because of
mean-
me, they're gonna have to do it.
Yeah, I mean very religiously posting about that. And also even the kind of backup that a person has, you know, like if you like Desmond Chu ran for election, lost the election and still got thrown into a grassroots
Yeah, I mean if
advisory
it's
position.
if it isn't already fucked up that you get 60% approval but 93% ministerial,
Yeah.
you still get thrown into a grassroots advisor if you lose.
Even
the
if
election.
you lose, so there really isn't a way to lose an election as long as you stand. with
It's
the
almost like the
trigger.
American way of education, no matter who wins, everyone gets a trophy. Yay.
Yay. Okay, yeah. So, I mean, there's this whole thing about unfair playing field, and I think Mr. Angkat kind of just represented that with his views or whatever. But okay, so talking about about the unfair playing field, I think what has kind of come out of it in this
In
weird
that cesspool
that
of
cesspool,
like
that
fuckery,
weird
evolution
Frankensteinian
happened.
thing. Yeah, so now what we have is opposition unity, or in other words known as
Horse trading
horse
in
trading.
mainstream media.
Yeah, and I mean on that note, right, I want to bring up a quick point, which I'm very very upset with PAP supporters or just general fans of the ruling party who really before this entire election were saying that the opposition sucks and they are weak and they are not united because they couldn't avoid three-corner fights.
Opposition cannot stand together. What? They care about themselves. They don't care about Singapore.
And it confuses me because now that they finally met up for talks, they are lambasting the oppositions.
Opposition got backroom deal now. Horse trading.
Pick a fucking stance, you know what I
No,
mean?
wait, but he's like they have picked a stance. And they have stuck with that stance.
Which
and
is
they
just that
retrofit everything
opposition's-
else to fit that stance.
Don't you ever feel a sense of cognitive dissonance that you can
That
say
word's a
something
little bit too big. I don't think they'll get it.
like, don't you ever feel mind fucked by
You
yourself?
say this, then you do that. Walao eh.
You say something in 2011, then you say something in 2015 that's completely different. I mean, pick a fucking stance.
Oh, wait, but I like one thing that PMV said in I think 2006,
Yeah.
and he has not changed his stance. Let's just roll that clip.
Roll that clip, editor.
Supposing you had a parliament with 10, 15, 20 opposition members out of 80. Then instead of spending my time thinking of what is the right policy for Singapore, I'm going to spend all my time, I have to spend all my time thinking, what is the right way to fix them? What's the right way to buy my own supporters over?
So I think he's done a pretty good job on like fixing the opposition and like buying votes.
Yeah. Okay. And my favorite comment of all time comes from Fabrications of the PAP, which basically went out and said, why are opposition members so keen on ousting the PAP and not keen on serving the people?
Why? I'll tell you why. Because it's one and the same. Thanks for watching. Like, share, subscribe. Please donate to our Patreon. If not, we won't get to eat.
The broke artists. Do stay tuned for the final part of our election special, which is coming up next Thursday. See you then.
Bye. If we don't get arrested.
And now back to the Calling It Out show.
Fucking annoying, yeah. I didn't know it was a good thing. But like, I feel so dirty.